Story time! When I was in high school, I was certain that I was going to get a bachelor's degree and that I was going to spend my working life in the psychology field. Like many of my peers, I was interested in mental illness and I'd been unprofessionally counseling people my age online for much of high school. It just seemed so natural and I loved and still love the idea of being able to help people like me. And like many of my generation, college was just expected to come after high school. Then I started my undergrad years at community college and quickly found out that I'd hate being a therapist. Talking to people one-on-one is difficult for me. And on top of that, hearing all of the darkness in their lives would destroy me. I realized that my empathy would just cause me to take the depressing workday home and I'd be in a constant state of believing the world just sucks. I'd get so caught up in the hardest aspects of my job that I wouldn't be able to find levity. It's just the kind of person I am. And that was the only area of psychology that I found appealing. After graduating from community college, I didn't move on to a four-year school because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after that. My family expected me to continue my schooling. Even today, 4 years after I got my associate's degree, I still get asked when I'm going back to school. I knew what was expected of me, but it didn't feel right. Then one day, I decided to give making videos on YouTube a chance. Sounds outrageous for me, a shy, introverted recluse. No one who knew me in high school would seriously suggest it as an occupation. I would have dismissed it back then too, but here I am. I found an outlet for my thoughts on media and the world around me. Still not into socializing much, but I found topics I like to discuss when I need to be social. Now, given my own life trajectory, does Anya's enlistment into the army sound that unrealistic? Like me, Anya thought college was just what she was supposed to do. Her best friend expected it to be her next step, and it was always a part of the plan her parents had for her. But it personally didn't draw Anya. She wasn't intrinsically motivated to get a degree. You can see that in her inability to explain what she wanted to do with her adult life, or why she even wanted to minor in English. Yeah, she was coked up at the time, but I think her being unable to justify the path she was on was still real. All that Anya focused on was getting into a college after her and Dr. Chris were no longer a possibility. Any college was the goal, but there's no mention of programs she was interested in or concerns over Last Chance University being a good match for Anya's path. She just wanted to be a college girl after high school. Hell, we even see how Anya had no clue what she wanted after graduation by how easily and enthusiastically she tried to build her future around Dr. Chris. Unlike Holly J, who had to weigh her own future and self-worth against her feelings for Declan, Anya tried to mold all of her plans to fit where Dr. Chris was going with his life. There wasn't anything important or pressing that Anya wanted to do for herself at the time other than just be with him. And her despair and confusion grew after getting rejected from Last Chance University. What was she to do now? Her parents decided that they'd be happy with Anya just finding a career that she enjoyed, but to Anya, she was already a failure. She wasn't going to college next year, her grades weren't great, and now she was bearing her sorrows in coke. The fact that she couldn't find a job that sounded interesting only made it worse. She didn't feel like she had a direction. All she had was the in-the-moment enjoyment of coke to mask how empty her future looked. It also didn't help that years of being told what to do were finally causing her to lash out at anyone who tried to redirect her decision-making. That is, until she found a path that seemed appealing. The army. The first time she takes someone's advice after being rejected from Toronto University is after Anya found something that she wanted. Bianca tells her to lay off the coke if she really wanted to be like the woman she saw in the army ad, and Anya did. She finally had an internal reason to want to be sober. Something much stronger than justifications Owen or Holly J or even her mom could have given her. Yes, she also got busted by her mom shortly after deciding to join the army. But even after she was initially rejected for testing positive for cocaine, we don't see her go back to it. She doesn't feel as lost about her future. There isn't an uncertainty that Anya needed to be filled by drugs anymore. Even after being rejected, Anya was determined to chase after the army, and she knew cocaine wouldn't help with that. I would have never pegged Anya for an army girl. I mean, she has a lot of experience with taking orders, but when she found the army, she was also rebelling against doing what others wanted her to do. Still, I think the army is a happy medium for her. It's a form of subordination that she could get behind because it was inherently a part of what she wanted to do. An acceptable way of being a follower that Anya didn't feel stifled or controlled by. It was notably different from her earlier relationship with Holly J, where she just wanted to exist in peace and thus required her not to stand up for herself. This time, she wanted the army, even though that meant taking orders from someone else. Now, it's important to point out that Degrassi doesn't say that the army was really a good fit for Anya. Sure, it's what was appealing to her, but we never get to see her after she's had a real taste of the army. Before graduation, we see her still uncertain if she was a good fit for such a career, or if such a career would be a good fit for her. For all we know, she could have ended up like Paige when she learned what banting was really like. Degrassi doesn't say one way or the other. Maybe Anya didn't even finish boot camp and had to find her new calling. Maybe she found camaraderie and purpose in traveling the world in the name of Canada. It's unclear. I often see people criticize Anya's character trajectory as being random and unrealistic, specifically her joining the army based on a whim. Was it random? Yeah, as are a lot of major decisions that we make. I mean, nothing in my life before 2014 would suggest that I'd even want to be making the video you're watching now. Sometimes our futures just kind of fall into our laps. But the randomness doesn't make it unrealistic. As I outlined at the start of this video, I had a very similar trajectory to Anya. Before discovering the Phantom Reviewer, I didn't think I could get anything out of being an online video maker. Hell, the only reason I discovered that there was more to YouTube creatorship other than music and skits were because of my desire for Phantom of the Opera content. It'd be great if our lives were like on TV, where everything is a natural cause of something else and is built up over time to an eventual, satisfying culmination of factors. But that's not how lives or humans work. Sometimes the ideas you have about a person or yourself are limiting to the point of excluding options. There's a lot of things we reject without much consideration because we don't think it fits our inner narrative of who we are. And then sometimes we find ourselves seeking what seems opposite to what our lives have been building up to. Maybe it turns out to be something that you soon can't imagine living without, like say Zoe and Rasha. Or maybe it becomes a mere anecdote in your journey to finding your path. Not fitting what you think you should be doing on its own isn't a justification for not giving it a shot. If it was, I wouldn't be making this video, and Anya would likely be still struggling to fill the confusion over the future with unhealthy coping mechanisms. Alright, let's keep this short. Fan art of the week is by someone we've already seen art from. May I present to you Not a Boo, done by Prince, aka Prince Funny Bunny, aka Funny Bunny. For those who don't know, I adore Boo, so it's great to see a Boo dressed as a NotAVampyre, or NotAVampyre dressed as a Boo, or NotAVampyre turned into a Boo. It's great. Those who have seen me on Twitter or Discord might have noticed that that's currently my profile picture. Yeah, it's not Halloween anymore, but I don't feel like changing it. I think it's adorable. So, thank you very much, Funny Bunny, or as you're known on YouTube, Prince. You can check out this fan art or other fan art that I've been given at this Discord invite. You'll also find a way to keep up with the videos that I and my friends make, and you can always chat me up in my NotAVampyre crypt. And as always, on Twitter at NotAVampyre. Thank you very much for consuming this video, and until next time.